Right then guys, so now I'm going to tie a few bottom bait rigs. So I've been tying these pretty much as I've been using and I'm using bottom baits now more than any other rigs. So I definitely need to start sorting a few rigs out that are just for bottom bait fishing. So let's see how we go with this. I've not many up patterns really for bottom baits, to be perfectly honest with you, because I don't use that many. But what I have got is I've got some straight point, and I've also got some curved shanks. Now curved shanks will do, I think, for what I need anyway. So what we're after now is we're after about 12" of end trap semi-stiff, which I go through this like I've actually got some ESP, and I've also got some other coated there that I may use at some point. But I have got some, in fact I've got some IQ that I'm going to use actually guys for this, but I'm not sure breaking strain on that. First one's definitely going to be made out of this though. So we want 12" of end trap semi-stiff. Now this rig really is going to be for Ravensfield or over any other, but what I'm going to do is I'm not going to, I want the air and everything just really to be a blow bike as a blow bike rig. Let me just pause while I get a ring on that. Right then, so we're not going to bother because I ain't got no small rings. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it with the old school way, Terrier style, with silicone. So what we're going to do is we're going to strip bike round about 2" of the coated section, which I'd quite happily fish that as a coated braid, to be as a braided section, to be honest with you. And all I'm forming with this now is just an air. So we just twist that, and then we come through that, and we bring that to there, and then we pull that down. Right then, so now that's formed as air. So all we've done is just formed the air, which is going to go on the end of a covert mugger from Gardener. Now I do like these. It's what I've the last few fish I've had out of Bradley's have been on these covert muggers. They're strong. They really are a strong one. Now I did try them, the Fox on the straight point. Now I do like them as a nug, but I'll tell you what, honest to God, one of them come back pretty new enough. It was bent. It was really bent. So that tells me the difference between that and them in strength wise is the Gardener every single time. Now there was a guy fishing with these other day, believe it or not, at Bradley's, and he fished for 4 hours with that green section on end. He says he thought when he had a tech, he thought the point would have come through it. Plonker. It's the only thing I can say. Right. So what we do is just a standard knotless knot through the back of the hook. First of all, we're wanting really roughly around about the size of the bait that I'm going to be using, which will be we'll go with one of the pineapple and butyric acid and amino that I do, because they're round about the same size as the actual baits that I will be using on the day. But this is actually a pop-up, so it will be coming off. I'm just using bottom baits, to be honest. So that now comes through there, the gate back over it, and now I'm not going to bother with an air stop and all that. There's no point. It's so I just bring it through to there, and I take that covert up, and I want a little bit of separation between the air and the actual. I do like a little bit of planing, not too much, otherwise that can happen. It can start coming back on itself, and you start getting that kind of stuff happening. Now I don't want that, so you've got to bring it a little bit tighter than that. So I always take it through to where it touches the actual bend of the hook, which is round about there. Now the only difference will be is I may be using round baits, but majority of the baits that I roll now are barrels. I don't roll any other baits now other than barrels. And then always go down in 7, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then bike through towards back through the so your eyes. Most of you will know this, but some of you don't. So that's the reason I explain it in depth like this. Is I'm coming back through towards the point side of the hook, and then that has given me that. Now that separation there and how it's kicking out is exactly how I want it to be. It's I always get that with a decent curved shank hook. You always get that kicked out at that. Now that's what you definitely need, that, because you're always going to get every single time. It doesn't matter where you do it, they're always going to get them in bottom lip every single time. Now I was fishing with an hinge rig. It was just laziness, pure laziness on my part. I'd not fished with bottom baits for a while, so I just thought put a bottom bait out on a hinge rig and just see what happens. Nah, it was stupid, and it cost me fish. In the end, it did cost me fish. So that was a mistake that I've learned from, and that is don't be make sure that you've got proper rigs on for the style of fishing you're doing. Now, next thing what I will do with that is, because I fish. Majority of my fishing is on the lead coat or to a lead clip. Is all I do is I form a loop in the end of this, and then that enables me to either attach a swivel to it so it can run on the lead coat, or if I'm fishing it on a lead clip, all it's a matter of doing is going through the swivel, passing it back through the loop and pulling it back down on itself. So again, a figure of 8 loop knot. So it's just a case of going, no, don't be taking coating off on this. You don't need to. It's leave the coating on. So you come back through it, and then it's just a case of just with baiting needle back through, and then pulling straight like that, and then that's good as that. Now that's about the length I'm after, which is probably round about, that's a 6 inch, which is ideal for what I'm after. I'm going to be fishing it over a tight baiting, but with a spread as well. It's a little bit of both. It's got it's gonna have a pellet tight around the baited area, and I also need some PVA to because I was just using a small PVA stick attached to the bag, and it made the difference in between getting fast takes and not getting takes at all. It made a massive difference. Now I love the way that's kicking out like that at that angle, and I found that with the muggers you do get that, you get it kicking out like that. But if you're using a straight point, you can get that by whipping down 4 times, pulling the air back on itself, and then whipping underneath the air, and it will give you that exact same thing, that it kicking like that. So as next step now is just that rig now is pretty much it's pretty much done. All it needs is a small blob of putter, and when I say small I mean a really small blob of putter in the middle of it, because majority of this putter it just comes off straight away anyway. The minute you get a tech, it pretty much comes off. So there's no point messing about trying to put loads of putty on and making it ultra neat and all that, because all that happens is that the fish runs straight towards trees, and you end up just losing the majority of the putty you put on, so it's pointless. But I will also be using an inline lead on this session, because I really do want to drop lead if I can. I want to drop that lead. I won't drop the lead for no other reason other than if I won't drop it just for nothing. There's too many people on telly and on YouTube now telling you to drop lead when it's unnecessary. There's no need dropping lead unless it's heavy weed. And both places that I'm going to be fishing this Sunday and also next week, I've got a lot of weeding, so I want to be dropping that lead as fast as possible. And the best way to do that is not with a lead clip's a great tool for dropping lead, but the best way that I've found of dropping lead is with an inline lead and fishing it so that the lead core runs over this bit through the eye of the swivel. The minute that tension's done from both ends, that lead drops off, and that's definitely the best way that I've found of a fishing that method of dropping lead. It definitely drops it every time. Now that's the rig that I've used now for about past probably 10 to 12 years now, that one, hinge rig. I absolutely love it, but I used it other day with with the bottom bait, like I've just said, and the hook holds from it, they were good, but it cost me 2 fish. I were getting them there in scissors, and one of them was hooked in, just not in the middle, but just to this side of it here, and I found that it kind of the mouths taper in at that point, so it's less. It's not as hard. It's more softened, especially on these ponds that are silty. They're used to feeding in silt, so over time the mouths have got no need to be as hard as say on a gravel pit where they're picking gravel up. The mouths get harder. I've found that not to be the case on silty waters. So that's the rig I used last time, and that's. I had all the fish that I've had have been on it, fishing it with a bottom bait as well. It's unreal, really. I mean, there's a few alterations I could do to that, I suppose, to make it more efficient as a bottom bait rig, but I'd much rather just fish a bottom bait rig that's specifically for bottom baits, and it's a rig that now I've used for absolutely years. So, well, it's pretty much a rig that I've only ever really used with bottom baits. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a small piece of silicone off that. Now this rig puts out, we'll take that back off, and what we're going to do is we're going to put the baiting spike through the silicone, and then we're going to pull that silicone over the knot. This should really have been done beforehand, but I forgot about it, so I'm going to pull that over now. We're going to wet that, and then we're going to just pull it just over that top section, and then all that's doing is it's just giving you a little bit of a kicker on that. Just pull that over, and it just gives us a little bit of an extra kicker there on top bit. Let me see if I can get that focused in for you. Just gives a little bit of an extra kicker on that top bit. Now I sometimes use a little bit of silicone down on this section as well, which will take that tighter to that bit. It ain't needed. I'm using a solid bag with it, so it's just not needed. So that's the bottom bait rig that I'll be using.